Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 152, and today we're going to be doing battle in the Gauntlet. And so, as we say in all of our Gauntlet videos, I spend most of our time talking about the best of three strategy, not so much the individual deck lists themselves. If you're interested in the individual decks, they're covered off on our channel for the most part. It's kind of tough here at the beginning of the season. The new cards have only been out 3 or 4 days or however long, but there's some kind of close enough stuff on these decks backwards in the channel. And so, if you are just looking to jump in and get your prime glory, you're really interested in getting qualified for seasonals and you really need to win that first one, I think the best thing that you can do is just play your favorite flavor of Pirates from the last season, play your favorite flavor of Kaisa from the last season, take your Void Abominations out and include your favorite improvised unit, and then go and look to play another good third deck. Thresh, Nasus, Katarina, Gwen, if you want to play Evelyn, Viego, whatever. There's a lot of high quality decks from the previous season that got some minor upgrades from the new set, or they at least didn't get hurt by the new set, and you should be fairly good to go. The meta is always so varied. I always highly recommend just taking good decks to Gauntlet and giving it a go. But that's not what we're going to be doing today. Today we're going to be bringing a little bit of different flavor. We're going to be playing Pirates, but with Darius in place of Twisted Fate. We're going to be playing Kaisa, and then we're going to be playing the Powder Pandemonium deck. And so to start off with Pirates, the kind of interesting thing I think that we see here is kind of twofold. By moving Twisted Fate out of the deck and bringing Darius in, that lets us play Twisted Fate somewhere else, right? You only get to play the champion in one of your decks. If you have a replacement for Twisted Fate, then you can come in and move him into Pirates, or otherwise you're probably just going to play Misfortune and Scouts. But if you're really looking to play Pirates, this is a fairly safe move to make, and as the format gets like a little bit more width attached to it, there's a lot of the Nami decks running around and such that having the big punch that you get from Darius is quite nice. And so the addition here isn't that challenging. I do enjoy having it here. In terms of the new cards and the changes with the release of the new set, Ionian Hookmaster is a very easy addition into the deck. This card is just super, super good. It's way better than Legion Grenadier. That's the typical replacement that you see with the Hookmaster. Highly, highly, highly recommend adding this into Pirates, even if you just make no other changes, right? Just take out the Grenadier, add in the Hookmaster. The deck's going to improve quite a bit. These improvised units are all exceptionally strong, and then the longevity you get out of the equipment is quite good. And so I've been extremely pleased with the Hookmaster. In terms of the other cards, the units are all still the same. We have cut down one Legion Butcher, so we're only playing 11 1-drops instead of 12, but I think that's okay. We're picking up a little bit more interactivity. We have a little bit more grind into the format with the addition of all the improvised units, and so playing it just a touch slower feels okay to me. The other addition we've made to the deck is adding in Heavy Metal. This is a fantastic removal spell. Every deck in the format is essentially playing equipments, and being able to take out your opponent's equipment is quite strong, especially strong if they're playing a deck like the Zoe decks that are running the equipment that supports but then flips into the thing that gives it stats and spell shield to the next unit. It's very, very, very strong if you're able to snipe a unit or snipe an equipment and a unit as opposed to just an improvise. But I've been quite happy with Heavy Metal here, just given the extreme amount of equipments that we're seeing in the format right now. On to our next deck, we're playing Kaisa, Akshan, Jarvan. It's a mouthful to say all of that, but this is slightly different than we're going to be seeing from most of the Kaisa decks in the previous season. The Void Abomination did just get nerfed into Oblivion. I'm not going to be spending 9 mana on a Void Abomination, so we have to kind of like move away from that idea. And with our late game smoked, I want to push this more towards the early game and have it function a little bit more like we used to see out of Akshan Kaisa. That was a fairly typical third deck in triple rally lineups, and it was quite fine and quite reasonable. But the differences between Akshan Sivir and what we used to see out of Akshan Kai'Sa are the Akshan Sivir decks used to have a lot more early game to it, and so you would be playing all of the birds, right? You'd be playing Fleet Feather Tracker along with the Broadwing. You would try and get usage out of multiple Bright Steel Protectors, and then you would have access to multiple Merciless Hunters. And so the kind of ideas are you're getting quick attack challenges from Akshan and Sivir and the hooks in from the Hunter, and then you're getting good challenges with Barrier through the Birds and the the Protector. But things are a little bit different now as we look to stack up on Blinding Assaults to take advantage of Kai'Sa with, to shift the Scout plus Challenger over to her. I still want to be looking towards this similar early game, but adding in the power of equipment. And so we're going to be using 2 copies of Fereth. We're going to have 2 copies of Combat Cook. And these equipments play fantastically with Scouts, fantastically with Challengers. We covered off on that on our first video of the season. And then they can also be used to activate Evolve. And so loads and loads and loads of synergies coming around from the equipments in here. There are some other takes on this style of deck. There's a lot of people running around with, say, Mono Kai'Sa along with the Resurrection spell. That's worth checking out and reasonable, but with the way I like to play games, I prefer to be much more early game centric, and so I like the idea of these challengers and these scouts and these equipments all building up a good early game and then a big closer with both Kai'Sa and Jarvan. And so that's number 2. Then deck number 3, fairly straightforward with Twisted Fate Teemo and Powder Pandemonium. We did get some new additions coming out of the new set. The one we'll be playing here is Loaded Vessel. This deals 2 damage to a unit. Then you draw 1 at the next round start for each damage dealt. And you give those cards that you just drew fleeting. And so I'm giving this a go over top of the Nagakaboros spell, the draw 2 burst, put a tentacle on the board. Given that this is just kind of an outright removal spell, I don't typically want the tentacle on the board anyways. It just takes up the space for our Powder Pandemoniums, and this does have some minor potential to draw extra cards, right? We don't have the powder keg generators in here or anything, but just directly killing a unit can be a little bit more effective than putting forth a blocker, and then maybe we come up with a way to draw an extra card. But this is going to be the new one we're trying out, as opposed to just playing in the Eye of Nagakaboros, whatever that one's called. Can never remember what it's actually called. But all right, that's going to be it. The lineup is here. Let's go ahead, jump on into the Gauntlet, and get our battles ready. So, Pirates, Kai'Sa, Twisted Fate, off we go. Where are we at? There it is. I found the play button. It can be challenging to do sometimes, but we managed. And okay, so it looks like we have what would be a standard version of Pirates. Got used to seasonals when when you got to see the deck list. I'd say this is the standard Pirates, Zed Katarina, and then Nasus. I'm fine to go into a space to where we ban out Nasus and then try to play a Pirates mirror match. The other thing is the Powder Pandemonium deck does have a fairly positive matchup against Pirates, and so if it comes down to playing a random person in the Gauntlet in a mirror match or playing Powder Pandemonium against Pirates, I feel good against both of those. Not entirely sure what's happening with Zed Katarina, but I'm willing to risk it. We're just going to come in here and take out the Kindred Nasus. He says no thank you in terms of our Kai'Sa. So let's lead off with the Powder Pandemonium. I feel a little bit safer playing it twice if we have to, but I think it should have decent matchups here. Like, we'll have to see if this is some kind of like ghost version of the Zed deck, which can then get around your monkeys, but I think that's not a big thing to worry about. Reasonable start here. We're just going to hit with Teemo on turn 1, and then immediately hit the Puff Cap on turn 2 for double Plunder Jagged Butcher. You heard it here first. It's what's going to happen. Oh. Dang. It was close. It almost happened. All right. Well, let's deploy a blocker. It sucks to lose out on the to lose out on the plunder, but it is nice to prevent that damage. We need a little bit of time against this deck. Right, Teemo win. I want the stats on the Butcher. I'd love to be able to block the Precious Pet. And then if it comes down to where we just have a good AoE next turn with Twisted Fate, that's pretty reasonable as well. This pass sounds terrible. Okay, Misfortune. We can gold card her if that's what it comes down to. Let's see if he opens. If he opens, that feels like a pretty massive win.
Hey, TF. How's the partner?
Pretty good.
He goes red card to kill Teemo. Not worried about it. So I think we're fine to just drop gold card onto Misfortune. Well, we don't really need to, right? What if we red card, and then we can just block Misfortune with the Jagged Butcher and Pokey Stick down Twisted Fate. We're getting built up quite nicely that way. Okay.
Who says I don't share?
I'm on board.
I'm always up for a round or two.
Right, his attacks look like booty now. Got them booty attacks coming at us. Okay, so he should be in a spot where he has to start blocking. That's not where you want to be as pirates. So Yordle Grifter should be good. We got loads of good, fucking really hitting puff caps. Come on, deck. So we have loads of good targets coming out of their deck. More than happy to nab from the most part. He's played too many good units in the face of the Butcher, so we'll hold him back, get our good attacks in the rest of the way. Holy shit, we flipped to Teemo. It was not the plan, but I'll take it. More Twisted Fates. It's not terrible here. I mean, we don't really want these triple warning shots, and so cycling away a warning shot for some card draw is not that bad. This guy's very focused on our Teemo. I guess you kind of have to be at this point, but it's really typically Teemo's not here as a win condition.
This'll shake 'em.
One good turn, hey friendo.
Is that how we want to go with it? I mean, we can still just use Twisted Fate next turn. The way I'm kind of looking at this now is we have our blocks here. We can follow up with Mirai Warden this turn and then just play Twisted Fate next turn to gold card down Misfortune. Then we still have, I mean, 4 warning shots in our hand. It's like we built our own Decimate.
Oh, I've never met anyone like you.
Make it rain, not bad. I wanted to check out his AoE status before we got too far into the next turn. It'd be pretty painful if he has another AoE.
Deal me in.
Noxus Blast. Okay. Makes me feel a little better. I mean, we're getting pretty close to dying, but he has no board. We have essentially have lethal set up here. Oh shit, that's scary. That if he picked up a Make It Rain, we're gonna have a serious problem here.
Behind ya.
Surprised he didn't play it beforehand. If he had picked it up, so that he would just kind of have the options and know. You don't want us playing another like 2 health unit behind if you can avoid it. LOL. Here come the warning shots. Get ready for it. All right, I'm gonna start emoting. Bring in the laser beams. You have to emote, otherwise the game just ends too fast, right? They don't get to see what's coming if you don't drop them in there. All right, Pirates has been defeated. Let's see if we can win the mirror match. What do we got? Hang on to our cheap plays. Want to show off the Ionian Hookmaster. Be cool if he showed up. But here, we'll start with the Precious Pet. This is a spot to where opponent almost always has a 1-drop, and so I don't really want to trade. I'd rather get in the 2 damage with the Precious Pet. So the way we talk about a lot of these games, especially in terms of Pirates, is if you don't know what to do, then just go for the way that does the most damage. And so looking at something like that here would have meant dropping the Legion Saboteur and just attacking, since that would have been 3 damage instead of 2. But we knew kind of coming out of this what we were up against, and so I felt a little bit safer playing the Precious Pet. Now, this is kind of bad. We could have kept the what's your name? We could have kept the a combat reel. I like it. We could have kept
Sometimes you're the bait.
I can't remember his name. Our dude, but if we want to like add one and then still get an attack in this turn, we're kind of behind. So I wanted to keep the Legion Saboteur just in case. So if we attacked, we're going to get the guaranteed damage in this round.
Guess I'm the bait.
He gets a butcher, we get a butcher. Seems like he's not updated with the new cards. Deal the 2 damage. You don't have to have an equipment for that, right? It's not a completely dead card if your opponent has no equipment in their deck. You still get to bring in a bit of damage if...
No prey. No pay.
You still get to bring in a bit of damage even if they're not equipped. Okay, well, let's continue to grind it out. I mean... the misfortune being held back is kind of nice. We get to keep our health a little bit high. We have the extra grind ability with our combat reel. We have a zap to draw some more cards. Like, hopefully this starts turning our way a little bit.
Gotta go with the flow.
Okay, our zap's safe now. I was a little worried about him getting cleared out by a Make It Rain, but that's not going to be the case anymore. How do we do this? Do we want to go ahead and drop the heavy metal? I think we do. I'm going to go ahead and just drop it onto Misfortune, and then we'll look to play double Make It Rain next turn.
Fresh out of mercy. Through the coral.
Okay, so do we want to put a damage onto Zap? I think we have to just be like a little bit careful here. He's going to automatically trade with the other Zap if it doesn't take the 2 damage, but if too many of these go to face and we don't kill the units we need to kill, then it's going to be problematic. So ideally, we won't need it, but looks like it would have it was necessary. We had one go to the face instead of on Zap. Uh-oh, doing stuff. Noxus Blast, okay.
Oh, I've never met anyone like you.
Okay. Let's see what turns up. Hookmaster, great option. I mean, as it stands, probably want to put the Fearsome onto it. Just can't be blocked at the moment. And then we can play Misfortune and give her a combat reel.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good.
Decimate. Oh. That's like, what are you holding on to at this point? What are your 2 cards that you don't want to add to the board? So here, I mean, we have the mana, right? We can switch the combat reel over to the Hookmaster. to have it pick up a point of health, but then opponent can just block it with one of these. He can still block it with the Mirai Warden. Decimate. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see if we can dodge a Decimate. It feels like we're ahead. You know, he's playing off the top a little bit harder than we are. Make it rain. Okay. We should have gone ahead and Nox and Fervored there probably. Okay, that should do it. I think that'll get him. If he has a Nox and Fervor, we can respond with our own Nox and Fervor. I guess he can send it like onto the rear guard, and that would be kind of awkward, but GG. Power of those equipments, man. It gave us so much stats there right at the end of the game. We got a bunch of extra mana off that thing. It's good stuff. You can even come out and hit Scout for your misfortune. GG. Well played, my dude. Oh, right. Battle number 2. Let's fuck him up. So what do we got here? We got some kind of Kaisa. That's probably what we'll ban. I would assume this is Mono Kaisa, and probably the scariest deck that we're going to be encountering. Here in the middle, Zillion Noxus. Not entirely sure what to expect out of that. It's probably just something off meta and not specifically Time Bomb combo, but I'm trying to piece together why Noxus would ever be added to the Time Bomb combo, but it's not coming to me. And then Evelyn Demacia is fine as well. So let's just ban out the Kaisa, go against the two probably off-meta decks, and then we'll carry on with the same strategy. We'll lead out with the Powder Pandemonium. If that's the deck we have to play twice, I would prefer to hit up our lower win rate deck twice than to play with our Darius Pirates. All right, Teemo turning up right from the start. I think this is a spot where it's probably okay to hang on to the Powder Pandemonium. I don't feel like this is going to be a particularly aggressive deck, and I think we should get a bit of time to activate this thing. And so if we have to just hold on to a dead card for a few turns, I think I'll be okay with it here, opposed to being in a spot where we just never draw it. All right. Teemo fucking him up, though. Here it comes. Turn 1 Puff Cap. Turn 2 Puff Cap. Shit. I gotta call my shots better. All right. Zillion comes down. A little scary. He starts getting Time Bomb stuff going. It's a bit of a problem. And then now this Jagged Butcher is just like literally never dealing damage. And so I think it's okay to just pass. We'll at least pick up the Plunder with our Teemo, and then we can like Jagged Butcher and Swindle and see how things look with the Plunders. Don't have to worry about like Mystic Shots and stuff, so it makes me feel a little bit better. We get a triple Plunder this turn, primed and ready for the Pandemonium. Whoa, Rite of Calling for more of them? More Zillions? With Swindle. Maybe we'll come up with something interesting here. We don't. I don't want Rite of Calling. It's probably just a Whispered Words is all we're taking since we don't have landmarks in our deck. But, you know, sometimes you pop that off and hit the Rite of Negation and you get to cancel their game plans. All right, so he's got a fresh Zillion. It feels like he's just picking up a Predict this way. I guess it does put more Time Bombs into the deck. All right. Triple Plunders. Feels nice. Feels good, man. Fuck was that? Is that a careful consideration that just didn't show up on the screen? Okay. I gotcha. I feel you. All right, we got a Taskmaster. Can't plunder this turn unless he attacks, though. It's a little awkward. I'd like to get an additional plunder if we can. Maybe he attacks. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like this is a spot where he's just going to pass it back to us. Yep. Guess we could have like tried to make it rain there, but it seems kind of meh. I don't like it when things seem meh. All right, the second Zillion down. It's kind of nice. It's not enough to stop the combos, right? The Zillion isn't here to be a major part of the turn, but it does. This is awkward. I think I'm trying to decide if we want to make it rain down this Treasure Seeker or just attack into it, right? Because if we drop the make it rain here, then we're going to lose out on the plunders. I guess like either way, let's say like we play the Jagged Taskmaster and we want to attack. We'll get in more damage this way. I think this is okay. So we'll hit for 5. Interesting way to go about it. I guess he just wants to take the trade. I mean, if you're wanting to take the trade, you can technically just put your Treasure Seeker in front of the Butcher, and then the Butcher will die next turn to the Time Bomb. It's okay. We're getting close to lethals. This Powder Pandemonium should be enough to close it out if we can cast it on our next turn without it getting counterspelled. It's so tempting just to start dropping puff caps. I think we have to wait. Let's just go ahead and make it rain. Like I don't want to just start passing and have them send it back to us again. Our open isn't quite good enough. But if we can get them to like play some time bombs and stuff, we'll have the knowledge to if we can just drop a fresh Teemo next turn, or if we need to go for the Powder Pandemonium. Gives us a little more info. Right, there's a time bomb. There's another time bomb. So do we want to go ahead and whispered words? Probably not. I think I am okay to drop Teemo. It's going to give him an opportunity to potentially kill him next turn, but my thought here is his time bomb's gonna blow up. It's gonna kill our Butcher. It's gonna deal 1 to Teemo. We're gonna play Powder Pandemonium, and then his board's gonna be empty at that point, right? So he can't be hitting us with time bombs right away. He needs to like manifest one onto the board, right? So he needs to like play a time bomb, then manifest another one. Doesn't sound super valid. I just wish we were a little bit bigger than 4. If we had the full 6 coming out of the Powder Pandemonium, I'd feel a little better. Whoops, Steve. You gonna kill him with a red card today? So, right, lots of angles he has to hit from the Pandemonium. If he plays the counter spell, then he's probably gonna take a Teemo hit. Again, if you want to play time bombs here, you have to manifest one, so that you can burst it onto play and then follow up with a physical one. I think he's already played the one. Opponent's played. Oh, I guess the deck tracker isn't enjoying this. Oh man, eat all those puff caps. This game's done. He can AoE us, but then we'll just kill him with red card. So many puff caps. Good job, Teemo. You're crushing today. You're crushing. All right, GG. Market a W for Team Puffcap. You know what opponent did wrong there? They didn't squeeze their butt cheeks hard enough. It's what you gotta do. It's the strategy. Nobody gets it. How do I survive the RNG? You clench them real tight. All right, onto the Evelynn plus Demacia. Not entirely sure what this is supposed to be. We often see Evelynn paired off with Shurima. We have been seeing a reasonable number of Bandle City decks. They're not Bandle City, Bandle Tree decks outside of outside of standard year. What are we talking about? Outside of whatever is happening outside of this game. I had a fun one with Bandle Tree Evelynn. It didn't quite pan out. There's definitely a video out there for it. People are trying to do that with Jax now. All right, but in terms of this game, good enough to open with the rear guard. He gets to punch in for 3. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Hookmaster. I want to see what turns up. The combat reel's fine. Not too worried about taking damage from Durandi Sculptor here, and then most likely next turn we're just going to drop all 3 plays. I don't think we want to plunder in the Jagged Butcher, but let's wait and see what we draw. Might be an option. Let's get the units down. Okay, it's going to have one big boy, it looks like. Big boy Broadwing coming through. Oh, it's a husk. I was like, cool, he just played an equipment on it. Let's let's hit it with the heavy metal. Not quite. Not quite. All right, well, here come the damages. Give me that spell mana back. Feels good. All right, then this is what I really love about these equipment now, right? We can start to, say, put the combat reel onto Precious Pet. He probably can't do anything about it. Picking up Zap was interesting here as well. Now we're in a spot to where we can say drop Zap, get the Attune. Now we have the Attune mana to drop a combat reel. Not super worried about this Broadwing. We'll see what he does. Like, his good hook is Broadwing into Precious Pet. We can kind of cancel that with the combat reel right now, though. Well, he's going to get 2 hooks this turn. Alright, well, let's at least protect the Precious Pet. I assume he's going to take a hook into Zap and then a hook into Jagged Butcher. Probably doesn't want to trade into the pet, but if he does, it's not that terrible. We get to replay the fearsome item somewhere else. Interesting. He has no mana. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Darius will be ready to party after this turn. Alright, so we're a little vulnerable right here. But going into the next turn... Oh, Jesus, he hit the elusive. We should be... This guy doesn't have... Elusive Overwhelm. I thought Solitude had... I thought Solitude had the Scout for some reason. Alright. Let's see if we can survive a round and then get Darius going. One short of a Nox and Fervor lethal. It's a little unfortunate, but it's the life we lead. Does he ever have an answer to Darius? Like, I'm thinking into next turn in terms of open attacking, and I guess he could have like a concerted strike. I think we need to like next turn play Misfortune and then ideally attack, get the 1 damage from her ability, and then the 6 damage from Nox and Fervors. I'll feel a little bit safer that way. I guess Evelyn is pretty close to flipping.
I love it when they scream.
It's like if she flips back to the 0 side and he loses his Broadwing, then he just can't do it, but that's fine.
That was hot.
Are you different?
Oh, we just pick up Decimate. Alright, I definitely feel better picking up the Decimate. So he can prevent 6 of this through Evelyn, or he can have a removal spell.
Get up and scream.
Fairly okay with either version. Man, he picked up... We gotta be careful now. He picked up Lifesteal here in the back. Alright, looks like this is done. Juice left... Well, we have to worry a little bit now about something like a single combat, but we can Nox and Fervor our units away, if that's going to be the case. Rip it. Alright. GG, my friend. Victory for Bust.
Done well. Noxus is proud.
Alright. Next battle. So what do we got? Oh man, it's Nora. We haven't been playing against Nora yet. We have to keep that up just for the excitement, right? But amongst these, I think the interesting thing here is I can't remember how like the Powder Pandemonium matchup is against these kind of control-esque style decks. It doesn't have heal in it, and I think that's typically the big problem. I think the strategy I would take against this is there's like most likely to be heal within this Evelyn deck, and not a ton, but still stuff like Vile Feasts that can cause a bit of problems. And so I'm looking to just ban out Evelyn, and then we can hopefully be okay against the rest of this. Oh, he takes down the Powder Pandemonium deck. All right, well, let's lead in with Kai'Sa. I feel like we haven't had an opportunity to play her because everyone just bans her. And so let's bring that forth a little bit. All right, reasonable enough start. And like I said with this, this does have a bit more of early game kick to it. I really like using the improvised units along with all of these challengers and all of these scouts, and so it's not exactly as mid-rangey as you would see in the seasonals versions. Definitely not running Sivir, although it would be nice to run Sivir with with some of these units. That was one of my thoughts, was like, how do we just cut all this crap out and then just put some equipment onto Sivir. That's the way the damage is meant to be done. All right, a lot of hard thinking going on across the board here. The big plays are about to be made. Kai'Sa comes to the party. A lot of overlap on our keywords, which is a little bit awkward, but we're at 5 now, right? We've got the potential, at least, for what the Elusive from Voidling, Challenger Formidable out of the Broadwing, Scout will get us to 4, Kai'Sa gets us to 5. Just need one more. Get those sweet, sweet evolves going. All right, here in this spot, I'm looking to just trade away the bird, right? So I want to play the bird first. I'll follow up with the Broadwing, and then ideally we'll be able to punch in for a little bit more damage this way. There shouldn't be too many big units coming out of PNZ Ionia, and like his preferred play around here would be something like Eye of the Dragon. And so if we need to deal with 2 units, we can. Looks like he not playing anything else, so let's at least send our Broadwing into Reggie. Still get the takedown even if he has a Mystic Shot. Alright, well. We get to build into the big kind of combo turn next turn if he doesn't do anything. It's like the, what the fuck? It's like, I really want to hang on to this mana for next turn so that we can play Kai'Sa and Sharp Sights. It gets us, like, it's a little not awesome here because our Kai'Sa is not going to be flipped. But my idea with this is I'd like to bank this 2 mana into next turn so that we can play Kai'Sa and still Sharp Sight. Okay, all right. This is something wild and crazy. Maybe we're going to see the new back alley bar to make good usage out of the barkeep. You got Bro hit Augment, but it's too good for Kai'Sa this round. We'll look to just get the Evolve next turn. When did back alley barkeep get 3 health? Why didn't Draven get to keep his 3 health? What a tough world for Draven, man. He gets his health boosted for half a day, then just gets taken right back away from him. It's too bad. I was looking to play some Draven in this event today. I wanted to do Aftershock, sad day. I wanted to do kind of like the Draven Scion Vi style deck, but with some improvises and then with concurrent timelines. And it didn't feel exactly awesome. It wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, so I gave up on it and went with more on-meta offerings. But the option was there. I was like, all right, how do we take concurrent timelines, which is very mid-rangey, right? You need to build up value off of your shitty units turning into big units, and just put Decimate in that deck. That's that's the thing I was wanting to see. Oh shit! I didn't actually stop to read our Voidling. We can still flip our Kai'Sa with the Brightsteel Protector, but I thought we were going to hit our Evolve. Usually helps to stop and see if you actually hit the keyword before before you just slap the unit right on the board. Whoops. It's okay to make a little whoopsies every once in a while. Alright, that should be good. That should be enough to get this done. And so let's at least try and push Barrier plus Elusive onto our Kai'Sa. That gets us pretty close to a lethal. I don't think we'll get it on the initial attack because he's going to be able to drop some little Poros onto the board before we get into combat, but our second attack should be enough, most certainly. Uh-oh. Doing stuff. Dawn and Dusk. I like what you're about, my dude. I like it. Get all those free cards in hand. That should be like a plus... Oh, wow. He's got... For each bar... That was his 4th barkeep? Dang, my dude. Got the back alley bar making it all cheap. I like it. I like it. I don't think it's going to be strong enough to save the day, but I like what you're about. Alright, so here comes our elusives. Let's hook his elusives out of combat. And then there's not a ton of reason to attack with the bright steel. So we'll leave it out of the equation. Something else have Challenger in here? Oh, it's Kai'Sa. Oh, I want to just deal the damage. We're going to hit for lethal if... he doesn't have a way to stop our elusives. Health potion? Okay. Not quite enough. Need a little bit more, my dude. Got him. Okay. Onward and upward with the pirates. All right. On with the pirates. Curious that back alley barkeep, though. You gotta That back alley bar, I'm curious if they'll ever come in and just make it cheaper. Right? That's what it realistically needs at the end of the day, is just to be a little bit cheaper. And then it would be fine. But here, I'm going to get rid of the Legion Saboteur. I don't foresee too many opportunities for it to chunk in early damage. Tends to just be a lot of... Oh, boy. Tends to be a lot of... things like the 1/4 that prevent... The 1/4 blocker thing. I don't know. Maybe we should have held on to it just to ensure we could get 3 mana spent this turn. But Laser Beam. Yeah, what a good start. Triple rear guard. Best start in the game. Whew. Do you remember when Riot made the worst decision Riot has ever made? Right? Anything they could have done. Just the any game that they've made, any decision that they've ever made within any game that they've ever done, right, was giving Legion Rearguard 1 health. It was miserable. Nobody liked it. It said, Riot, what are you doing? This is stupid. Why are you being stupid? They changed it back. Appreciate it. So we're not actually going to kill anything with this Make It Rain, but it will boost our Jagged Butcher and then make these blocks terrible. And so I want to lead in with the Make It Rain. If he plays another unit behind, we miss out on the opportunity to plunder our Jagged Butcher. But all right, he gets an extra blocker. A little unfortunate. Gets all the good 1 health units, just ready to get popped by misfortune. He's got 1 good block, right? He's got a 1/2 under the 2/1. Seems like he's not super interested. All right, got him to 6. What up, Darius? Oh, this is not a turn for Preservariums. I guess you get a unit out of it. He certainly did. Wow, it's a bold take. So there is a world where we would want to put the Darius on board. It's going to involve him like having Azir in hand and summoning a bunch of Sand Soldiers. He's still going to be too far away from that kind of thing. And with the Preservarium on board, there's just no way for him to actually get 6 units on board. So hopefully we're pretty okay here. Doing stuff. Pokey sticks to the face. Got it. GG. Aw, he gave us a thumbs down. All right. Make our way in to the final battle.
That's why I'm the captain.
All right. Final battle it is. What do we got here? We got Echo, Twisted Fate, Elise with Callista, and then the Blade Dance deck, right? Your Blade Dances with Misfortune. I think this is all reasonable, well and good. Again, I'm going to come in and just ban out the Shadow Isles. That's the one that worries me the most when it comes to playing Pirates and playing a deck like Powder Pandemonium. I assume that like the Echo deck is fine. If it's like the Echo Rally combo or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. It would be good against Pirates. I don't think it holds up well against the rest of the decks, but I'm okay to pilot against that. And then the Misfortune Blade Dance deck, I think, tends to get annihilated by Pirates. We'll have to see if he brings a Pirates ban or a Kaisa ban, but I think I'm okay with what we're in for here either way. Making them big decisions. He says, "Look out! I gotta Google search what I'm up against." Misfortune Darius, what's that? Oh God, he's playing Teemo. Okay, he bans out Kaisa. The Powder Pandemonium getting the opportunity to go 4-0. No respect, no respect. There's always that one person, it seems like, at every seasonals or at every tournament that is just punching through with the triple Pandemonium deck. Props to you. Bringing that thunder. But here, we need to keep like some amount of early game stuff that isn't Teemo. Maybe we should hang on to a black market merchant. It's like if we want to hang on to the merchant, we have to hang on to the warning shot. And I really just want to make sure we have enough early game interaction for them. I think we can keep Teemo, but then look for spells. Like a Make It Rain or a Parlay or something that lets us interact early. Drawing a second Teemo, we can just block with him as well. Cupcake. So yeah, the idea with the deck that they're doing is they'll play things like Crackshot Corsair, they'll play Misfortune, then they're going to do a bunch of blade dances to get multiple attacks in the same turn. Just another clever way to get some rallies. Absolutely block, right? We're not a Teemo deck. You got to always remember that when you're playing this thing. It will be nice if we can get threatens with Teemo, but at the end of the day, we're just a plunder deck, and he's a cheap, elusive way to get damage in, and then we might occasionally do a little bit extra. Wow, Jagged Taskmaster. Did that? Oh, he did deal damage with the Crackshot Corsair. I was like, did that even deal damage? Okay. Oh, the pre-plunder. Nice. The puff cap's coming through when it counts. Why didn't our Corsair? The Corsair. Okay, it has zero cost. It's like, why didn't the Crackshot Corsair get the bonus attack? That makes sense. Rip Teemo. Okay, so we'll offer up the trades. We need to keep the Crackshot Corsair at home, but at the end of the day, I feel like if we have our one unit on board to his no units, we'll be a little bit ahead. We need like to manage our card advantage, so it feels like we're a little bit behind.
Nice to meet you. I'm Isla.
Oh, we'll get a fresh card off the black market merchant. That'll help turn things around. What you got, Buru Leader? We got any one-costers out here? It doesn't look like it. I did the math. Oh, there's one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we are good at this game. Learn from the master. That's the way you do it. You just hit the absolute perfect puff caps, and then that's enough to get you to victory. Whew. Man, we're good at this game. Uh-oh, Twin Disciplines? That's kind of shitty. I was really hoping to get the free attack with the Jagged Butcher. Either get a trade or get to attack twice. I think I still want to add the Buru Leader, but we're not going to attack this turn. I want to Riptide Sermon down the Blossoming Blade. It's like, yeah, we could have sat around and waited and tried to free attack the Tentacle, but I think this is fine. We're going to get a big open next turn. Do we care about his scout units? Not really. So now his attack with the Navigator is bad. The Tentacle takes it down. Maybe he attacks with Dustbringer, but... So, like, at this point, do we just have to, like, stall and see if we can draw a Powder Pandemonium, or are we really going to be bringing some attacks in? It's like, I know we get to attack with our monkey, but... You got Buru Leader. Well, that's that's who we're taking, I guess. Nothing else to go on the turn with. So let's say we open. He puts the Dustbringer in front of the Tentacle. The Island Navigator gets good blocks. None of that feels particularly good. We're just gonna have to wait a bit. Uh-oh, he's definitely outdrawn us now. We know he has the Buru leader in hand as his other card. He can start a free attack with the leader. That's going to give him the scout rally for the turn. And then he'll get an additional attack after this. Kinda brutal. I'm going to play the leader, but not take a free attack. We're just going to put the dude on board. So if he attacks with everybody, we can prevent maximum damage. It's a little scary with this Island Navigator still hanging out, but I think if he attacks with everything and we just block Misfortune with our leader, then that'll leave us in a good spot. Yeah, we got to be winning this one, man. We hit so many good Teemo hits. We got to turn it around. Oh wow. Okay, so we just have to draw Powder Pandemonium next turn, or we lose. Jesus. I mean, I guess we really don't get to complain about luck too much, given how hard we hit on those Teemo puff caps. But man, when you're getting down to the slog, when everyone's caught up without having any cards in hand, and then you hit back-to-back champions, that's fucking tough. All right, on to the next one. Man, that was the deck I assumed that we were going to be able to smoke as well. Really wish we had Pirates against it. All right, Teemo, don't fail us. You hit so hard. We want to complain about luck so bad. We're just not allowed to. We can't do it. Whew, that was brutal. I don't think we gave up on any value anywhere. Like, that's the place whenever you're playing aggro mirrors. It's not exactly an aggro mirror, but imagine you're playing an aggro mirror. It usually kind of comes down to whoever either like snowballs and blows up the opponent, and that's not how those games were really playing out, or it'll come down to whoever is able to just have the last card on board. And we got to the point where we had the last card. I don't feel like we gave up value anywhere, but that was a struggle. Gotta get the Forge Chief out of here, though. I don't want him gaining a bunch, and we have a bit of time here. We have the Make It Rain to activate the Plunder on a future turn if we need to.
Come on, people. Let's make tomorrow
Okay.
today.
The Loaded Vessel. That's what we needed in the last game. Get all those freebies that way. What you got for a swindle? Station Archivist should be quite good in this match.
The sea beasts will fear us.
His Archivist shouldn't be that good, and so he's probably dropping Practical Perfectionist. Okay. Just, you don't want to play your Archivist when you only have access to one spell mana. He typically wants to save it to try and pull off echo combos. This is strange to me. This is like the way that this is set up is something that you would typically see out of the Akshan combo deck, to where you try to cycle the you go infinite with the Akshan landmark cards, and then you draw your whole deck a bunch of times and just start to copy. Eventually, start to copy. Absolvers and stuff, or Absolvers are how you end up closing out the game, but doing this with Echo, it doesn't seem like nearly as many predicts as we would see out of a out of an Echo deck. Got to worry about the Mirai Great Mother though. That's going to be a real pain with these rando spells shuffled in. Let's see if RNGesus thinks we're worthy today. We Archivist out of our deck. Oops. I was gonna say, ooh, let's Archivist out of their deck and get some of those spells they just generated. That's not the way it works. So how bad is this if the vessel fails? We're going to have to take the damage. Well, he's playing... He has to have like a really weird set of cards to survive this. He's playing P&Z Bilgewater. They tend to not have ways to boost. Like he could play a suit up if he just drew it this turn, but there's no other way to protect his health. Alright, so 2 cards, next turn it is. Alright. Not a terrible set. Let's lead off with this Black Market Merchant. We can let the Yordle Grifter go if we want, but...
I never disclose my sources. My past flashes.
It feels so nice having the double merchants on the board.
Safety will cost you.
We should be able to start punching in, and then these Powder Pandemoniums are going to deal a ton. I think we're kind of safe. Just boom them with the warning shots. That's how you take down a victory.
I think we have something on that case. Remember, we're the ones who make progress happen.
Draw. Which one's parallel convergence? Oh, draw 1, create a parallel convergence. That's start a free attack with ephemerals. Okay, gotcha. We can kind of counterspell that with the Powder Pandemoniums. That's what the turn comes down to.
A missing piece?
Okay. We've got him like super well ground down, right? We have 1,000,000 cards in our hand and he only has 3. And so ideally, unless he pulls off some big combo turn or he hits some like ridiculous expensive with the Mirai Warden, I think we'll be okay.
Never lost a fair game. Or played one.
He goes blue card. Now we're ready to pop off with the Powder Pandemoniums. We're gonna warning shot, right? One that he's seen. We'll drop the Taskmaster. It's gonna be the second Taskmaster, so all of our Powder Pandemonium dudes are gonna have +4, and then we can just start booming. Nothing wrong with that. Double tap. I don't. Oh fuck. He hit a crystal. Nice counterspell to the Powder Pandemoniums. I wonder if we can like bait it this turn. Right? We hit this double tap and he can try and Hexite Crystal our unit down so we don't get the strike. And then we're going to be open with the Powder Pandemoniums. Mm-hmm. Think so. So now the question is, are we willing to just like open with it? Curious to like how much bad stuff he could actually add to the board. Let's drop it. If he has like an AoE or something, then we have a second one to follow up. He can't play any more Twisted Fates because he's already got one on the board. This may be enough. Feels decent. Just digging for the answers.
Let me get you that file.
Okay, we didn't see any animations there. We should be in the clear.
It doesn't add up.
All right, neg 17 into 16, and we got another Pandemonium and a warning shot in hand. I think we did it. Cool. Boomed him real hard. Oof, okay, on to Pirates. Let's see if we can get really salty about the presence of Hexite Crystals. I hate that card so much. I don't hate it as much as I hate concurrent timelines, but Man, I just don't feel like that's a card that's worth existing. It's like we play this game to where he puts the cat down on turn 1 and you just say, cool. I guess if you predict well, you'll win. If you don't, then you're going to lose. Easy peasy. But all right, not a bad start against their deck. They have the cats and the Hexite Crystal, or the drop borders and the like, but we can attack past them with Precious Pets. So hopefully we get a good and strong open here. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Saboteur. I want to block, and then we can protect the Precious Pets for our attacks next turn. So hopefully we'll get to attack with the Precious Pets twice. All the Precious Pets.
Remember, we're the ones who make progress happen.
So I'll probably just start to ignore this one. He's going to get to gain 1 mana, and I think that's okay, right? We'll have the Misfortune down for the next attack and just take this thing out of combat.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that.
And she should be tough for them to deal with. Like, it's kind of scary dropping Misfortune here since they can just bank into next turn and then play a Riptide Sermon. But this deck doesn't seem like it's going to have sermons in it. They've spent a lot of cards doing a lot of this predict stuff, and it just doesn't feel like they're like, oh, I'm actually also playing Riptide Sermon. So what do we got? I think I'm leaning towards the Pot of Pain here. Just go for the damage. We're kind of like beyond the point to where we need the mana.
Respect the ocean and all its boons.
You won't get past me.
Got a cat wanting to hang out. And we'll hit with everyone. We'll have to trade Misfortune here for one of his units, but we just need to boom in for the damage. If he wants to hold a Forged Chief back, then by all means, congratulations. But this gives us a pretty big board. We're ready with a Riptide Sermon. Looks like he's blocking our Hookmaster, so we'll get to redeploy the Pot of Pain somewhere else. This feels pretty good. Feels good, man. Heavy Metal, probably not the card we're looking for in this match, but I guess it'll kill Twisted Fate. Dang, as didn't have the time to get the Pot of Pain down. All right, we probably don't need to be overly clever with this. As I was trying to imagine, like, we're going to open with the Riptide Sermon next turn. And I was curious if we could, like, stray into Twisted Fate into his hand or something. But the sequences just don't work out.
Where's my axe?
Maybe we clear one this way.
Gotta go with the flow.
What's that? It always weirds me out seeing this thing. I worry that it's the rally every time, but him coming in and drawing cards feels like a good space for us. I'm curious what the makeup of his hand is to have 5 mana and just play a cycle, right? He didn't add a unit to the board. He didn't play a Mystic Shot after the fact or anything. Decimate should end this. Bet that rips him. GG. It's all right. We got our prime glory, first gauntlet of the season in the books. A big victory for Old Bust. We didn't get boomed too hard there at the end of the day, and took it down. And so, you know, a fairly interesting lineup. We're still getting, you know, pretty fresh with the new format. We didn't play too many of the new and on meta decks. That's just kind of what you run into in Gauntlet, and so that's why we always recommend just playing playing good decks, not worrying too much about bringing a lineup that targets certain things or worries about certain things. We just try to bring good decks, and I think we're pretty on point with these. They could, of course, use a little bit of tuning, but it was certainly powerful enough for us to take the victory. And again, I think the big thing coming out of this, and the thing that makes me curious, is if you do take your lineup and pull Twisted Fate out of Pirates, are you then willing to play Nami Twisted Fate? And that's a deck that we really, really, really need to come in and just give some time to and see how much I hate it. If I actually enjoy playing it, then it's like a deck that's like really, really, really super worthwhile to have in our wheelhouse. But we'll just have to wait and see. But that's kind of like the idea I have pictured in the back of my head when you start to pull Twisted Fate out of Pirates, is that you can then play Twisted Fate and Nami Twisted Fate and have a really solid lineup with Pirates, Nami, Twisted Fate, and then Kaisa. And so that's the idea. I mean, I felt good with this. There weren't a lot of situations to where I felt like we really wanted the Twisted Fate over Darius. I mean, that they do such wildly different things. But I feel like now, with the addition of the equip units, it is a lot tougher to just get good Twisted Fate AoEs, because you run into spots to where either the equipped unit is just big enough to survive a 1 damage AoE, or you get into a combat, the units die, the equipped unit dies, then you re-equip a plus health equipment onto a unit, and now the AoE Twisted Fate AoE doesn't kill it anymore. And so it does have a nice home in Pirates, but I'm curious if it's kind of like waning in power, but it's still against Pirates, who has the time to do all that equipment-y based stuff. But I don't know. I feel like if you're playing Twisted Fate as a value card, we get a lot of value out of equipment, and so we can kind of shift some of that out of the deck and look towards other cards to get a little bit of value, and then include Darius, the kind of the idea at the end of the day. But nonetheless, victory is ours, and that will do it. And so, hope everyone enjoyed the video. You learned how to take Twisted Fate out of your aggro decks. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.